Okay, so it's Nic Harcourt, and I'm here at home with Jason Mraz. Jason, it's been a little while since we connected. I think last time was on a TV show, the Guitar Center Sessions. That's probably like 6 or so years ago. So we got a lot to catch up on. But more importantly, it's a year since we all entered the craziness of lockdown and quarantine. How have you been?
Crazy, but safe and very privileged. I've had a great career. I have music still in my heart and in my veins and in my mind and in my spirit. So music keeps me fulfilled. It's always kept me rich. But during this lockdown, I was very blessed to just stay home, be on the ranch, be close to my sleeping cat back here. And if I look for the good in the situation, the new parameters have inspired myself. And I think a lot of people that I typically collaborate with or artists that I just typically like to watch, everyone was kind of forced to get creative in new ways. We were all given new parameters, therefore new ways of being creative blossomed. And I think that's a good thing, because we can all rely on our own tricks and our comforts and our routines. And I certainly had been. I've been just kind of repeating the same pattern, the same process for a decade and a half. And I feel renewed. I feel like I was given an opportunity to take a deep breath and rethink how I want to go forward in life. How busy do I want to be? What purpose do I want my music and my actions to serve? Those types of things informing my creativity. So it's been good
Right.
time.
So when you say doing the normal thing, I'm guessing you mean make an album, tour for 2 years, come back, make an album, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And obviously
Sure.
that's a way of life and has been for you and many other musicians. I know I've been having a few conversations with people in the last year or so. And I feel like at the beginning of this, a lot of people were a little scared and a little freaked out. Income is a huge thing, obviously, for a lot of people, and touring income is a major part of that. But people didn't quite know what to do with themselves because they were at home, stuck at home, nowhere to go. But as it unfolded over the months and the year since, I'm hearing from more and more people that they've figured out how to pivot, not just in how they create, but also personally. I mean, what have you learned about yourself in the last year?
Hmm. Well, I relied on live venues to connect with my audience. I mean, when I first started, I was in coffee shops and I still use the internet to sell my recordings and connect with fans. And we had, a very active message board for a very long time. But then over the years, I drifted and it just became the stage and the audience. And that was where I was going to make my connection. And then when that was taken away, I guess, re-invited to learn how to connect with my friends and my listeners who have sustained my musical career. And I saw it from many artists. We had to shift into a virtual world, or at least into a technological relationship. At first, it was very challenging to just be alone in my room with a camera on me and assume I knew who I was talking to. But over the last couple of months, practicing with more live streams and communicating through comments and message boards, I start to understand who the audience is again. And it actually helps me paint a picture of who this audience is that I'm performing to. And it's been very helpful. And I actually like the direct interaction I get to have with listeners and get direct feedback on what they like and what they don't like. So that's been very helpful. I think for a little while after I became very popular with some songs, I think I blasted off into space and became inaccessible and kind of removed myself from the earth somewhat. And this last year has certainly brought me back down to earth and humbled me a bit. And it feels like I get a new start.
Now, interestingly enough, I think that you made a choice before the pandemic to change up your situation with with management, to take a little bit more control for yourself. That was already in process.
Exactly.
Is that what you mean when you say like you were sort of not really connecting to the audience anymore because you were sort of removed by layers of perhaps people around you who I'm sure all had very good intentions, but at the same time, when you have people doing other things for you, you sort of not really sure of what's going on.
Right. And we were getting so many requests that it was really hard to fulfill them all. And if I'm always handing out no, I can't do it, no, I can't do it, no, I can't do it, it wears on me. It makes me feel like I'm not helping anyone. So I basically just removed myself entirely from all of those requests. And yes, you have layers of agents and managers and personal assistants and things that kind of help protect you. But at the same time, all those layers are intended to help you as the artist continue to keep creating so you can keep the wheels of the machine turning. But if I'm removed, if I'm in this lofty penthouse sort of space, then how can I create something that's down to earth? And how can I create something that's relatable? So it was important for me to start peeling off those layers and remember that I'm still just a kid from a small town, still trying to figure out what life is about. And in that process, I'm going to continue to write songs to discover who I am and what life is about. But I want to make sure I'm doing it from a real place and not from a forced place or a contrived place. So I spent the last couple of years since 2016, 2017, just peeling back those layers. And honestly, Nic, I had set up 2020 as a year that I was going to take a deep breath. And to my surprise, in 2019, I had sensed that 2020 was going to be a life-changing year, particularly because we were going to have a very important election. And I was fueled and inspired by this to want to create songs that reflected those times.
Right.
And so in the fall of 2019, I made a new album at home that kind of came as a surprise and out of an urgency. I had finished up my deals with Atlantic Records, and I had no other major contracts out there. So I had this freedom to create. So the first thing I created was this reggae album that would reflect the times of 2020. And just as we were launching it, everything shut down. And so we couldn't go out and perform it live. We couldn't gather and play it live. It was kind of all taken away from us. So like I said, Nic, I had intended to take a breath in 2020, but this is not really the depth of the breath that I had intended. I was hoping to be out on the road a lot in 2020 to still share the music and hopefully just lend some energy to the change and it's a change that I think we're all experiencing in a positive way. But I did hope to be out on the road during that time. But that brings us to here and now. It's the spring of 21, and I've still got these songs from this album from 2019 that we're looking forward to bringing forth.
So I'm going to dial it back again to the first part of that question is, okay, what did you learn about yourself during this time?
During this time in 2020?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you've had a lot more time on your own than you have done.
Sure.
Years.
You know what, Nic? I thought I was so important. That's what I learned about myself. I thought I was important. And this album that I made in 2019, I thought was important, and that I needed to be out there and do this. And what was the world going to do without me? And what I learned is I'm not that important. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It just meant it wasn't my time to step forward and say, look at me. There are a lot of other things that need our attention right now, a lot of other issues, a lot of other songs and artists even that have more important and poignant and urgent messages that deserve the spotlight. And so I felt good about slowing down this all important attitude that we had for 2020 slowing it down and say, you know what, let's wait, and we will find the right time to return to this. But right now is not the time to try to jump to the front of the line or think that we are any better than anyone else. That to me is what 2020 was about the advancement of equality. And it was about lifting up others who have been hidden from our view or in the dark for too long.
So perhaps understanding the bigger picture a little bit more than you had before. I mean, you've always been somebody who's been politically active. You've always been somebody who's been very direct in talking about the things that are important to you. But it sounds like, and I don't want to dwell on this, but I am fascinated because, you know, we've all been faced with having to look at ourselves perhaps a little bit more than we ever did before. And it just sounds like you found a place where you understood that you were part of something, not sort of on top of something. Is that a
Yeah,
fair
absolutely.
summation
Absolutely.
of what you were saying?
Absolutely. You know, I had a dream that I would do this since I was a little kid, that I would be an entertainer in some fashion. And I set my sights on it, and that's all I did. And honestly, the whole system, the education system, the music industry, all of it was really designed for a kid like me to have a dream like that and get it made. And it occurred to me in 2020 as I was getting a history lesson and getting an education. It occurred to me that system of fulfilling one's dream isn't set up for everyone, or it hadn't yet been set up fairly for everyone. And that's what I mean by it was okay for me to step down and not try to hog the attention right now. Like, in fact, who do you know, even in your community, that could use an uplift, that could use their time to shine, that could use, whether it's dollars or awareness or just some love and some acknowledgement.
Right.
So it was an important year, you know.
I know that you were involved in the election, of course, and a number of other things. What's your proudest achievement of 2020?
Wow.
I know these are the deep probing questions you expect from Nic Harcourt.
Yeah. Well, I had a realization in the first half of 2020 that the album that I made was made out of this, what I felt was this important passion for both music and this utopian world where we're all equal to dream our dream and have it fulfilled. It occurred to me that I didn't and almost even shouldn't profit from this album, from this idea. If I truly were to walk the walk of the messages I'm singing, then profit really, it wouldn't be a part of this. It's really just about delivering this message and singing these joyful noises. And so I was able to basically take all the advance that I'd been given from BMG when I licensed this album to them and divert it to organizations in need. Some that are local right here in my backyard in San Diego, and some that are national, all in the effort to advance equality and the movement for Black lives. And to me, it was a shift from just going, earning, achieving, gaining likes and followers to, I can have passionate music that also serves a purpose. I can still get my joy and my fulfillment and my work, but I can also give. And I was already, I've had a foundation for many years. I know the power of philanthropy. I've seen what it can do. But this was separate from the foundation. It was really seeing how I can actually convert what I think of as the music industry and turn it into more of a service tool or a powerful fundraising tool. And that was a proud achievement for me. It really was. There's a school I work with locally now called the San Diego Young Artist Music Academy, and they were not on my radar until unfortunately, the unfortunate death of George Floyd. And after that, I realized there's plenty right here in my own backyard who need our love and support and respect. And in that comes protection. So now I have a relationship with them, and it's only growing. And that's my proudest achievement. I think prior to 2020, I was a bit isolated. I was kind of living in this bubble of I'm important and my dreams are easy. And in 2020, I just gained, 2020 vision. I gained awareness that others are struggling, and I can basically through collaboration, even it's that easy, through collaboration, help uplift and breathe life into some pretty profound organizations.
Well, just so as you know, my interactions with you, I've never found you to be a self-important person, but I understand what you're saying. The nature of the beast is that you are going to be, as you mentioned, not as available. And, we're all in our own heads to a certain extent, I guess. But when you're somebody who's got a celebrity status as a musician, it's easy to be removed from just normal behavior, I guess, normal conversations. So congratulations to you for, really, as you said, walking the walk. Let's talk about music. Let's talk about what you've been making in this last year. What have you been doing? You've got a studio set up at home, I guess, as you said, you made the last album there. Have you been writing and recording? And you live on a ranch, as you said, and I know it's, there's a lot of stuff going on the ranch as well. Give me a typical day for Jason Mraz. Let's say, what did you do yesterday? What's a typical day for you?
Gosh, what was yesterday? That's how it's hard to remember days.
I was going to say November. I figured I'd try and keep it a little more.
Yeah. It is so random because I have created this little ranch, and it was a dream that came around 2004 after visiting Bob Marley's house in Kingston, Jamaica. It's now a museum. And it was described to me on the tour as a place where the whole band could come and live, and they could make music and rehearse, and they could grow their own food and cook. They basically wouldn't have to leave. They could do it all there.
Right.
And that was the first time I'd seen that model. I said, yes, that would be amazing to live out in the country and be able to make a lot of noise and grow your own food. So I was able to do that. Luckily, my first two albums afforded me the opportunity to purchase a home. And then luckily I'm Yours shortly after, which I wrote I'm Yours Here in This Home, paid off my mortgage. So that was great.
Nice.
And since then, though, it's just been piling up all these hobbies and interests. So it can cause each day to look very, very different. I would love to be Zooming from the studio right now, but we actually have a session happening in the studio. So it'd be a bit noisy. That's why I'm up here with my sleeping cat. Today, I was also the delivery guy for our farm. We have a local avocado company because our land produces avocados and coffee and passion fruits. So I delivered passion fruits and avos to the Oceanside Kitchen Collaborative, which is a zero waste kitchen who repurposes food that's ripe now. And that was the case for us today. And then I delivered some avocados to Banana Dang, our local coffee shop, which is just bomb. I'm actually still wearing their hat, the Dang.
Yep.
And I put a few boxes of avocados in the mail because we have a mail order business. So for some reason, I ended up as the delivery guy today, but that's just kind of how it happens. This morning, I shipped off every single hard drive I own of Pro Tools sessions of concerts from 2003 to 2019. So bins and bins and bins. The last couple of days has been kind of going through those hard drives and seeing really what's there. And I'm having them all backed up and put into a database for just easier sorting. So we could be doing a number of things. We could be doing techie stuff because that's kind of the modern world. We could be doing farmy stuff. There's always weeding. When you live on an organic ranch, most of the time you're managing grasses and weeds. Which ones are we mowing and which ones are we keeping? Fruit trees are always in prune and always in feed. So anytime I need some heavy lifting or some sweat, I just go outside. I have one of my best friends managing the farm. I say, what are we doing and how can I help? So today I was a delivery guy.
Nice.
Last night I went on TikTok for about 2 hours. I love sneaking on TikTok and doing a live set because it's kind of a you had to be there situation.
Yeah.
And it's actually how I've been rehearsing music recently, Nic, because I used to go down to a local coffee shop and play and test out new songs and improvise with the audience. But that's been taken away from us. We can't gather, we can't play gigs. And I found a love of being able to do it through this sort of fringe app that hardly anyone is on. And it gives me a chance to improvise, test out new material, connect with an audience. So I was up late in the hours doing that in preparations for some upcoming shows that I have. So music, technology, earth. I love roller skating. I've been doing a little bit of roller skating in the driveway. And then cat gazing mostly. If I were to be truly honest, I'm staring at this cat for 6 or 7 hours a day.
What's the cat's name?
That is Biggie.
Is there more than one?
Biggie is more than one. Yeah, but I do have 2 outdoor cats.
The way you
leaner.
pointed it, I figured there was more than one, but yeah. Well,
yeah.
I'm glad Biggie's hanging out with us. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. And as you said, it's a mix of technology, music, and being the fruit and veggie guy.
Yeah.
Growing and
a couple of years ago, I decided to not have a manager.
Yep.
And I thought that would be great. And I really just wanted to start winding down the machine and not have to rely on someone else promoting me or speaking on my behalf, which was kind of a strange feeling. And I loved my manager, Bill. We were together 18 years. We're still homies. But I don't know, I was turning 40. I felt like, I'd like to start speaking for myself. And boy, have I learned so much. And it also just means I have to check my emails every day to stay on top of things. So I'm actually busier than I thought I would be. When I had a manager, I had a lot more free time.
Yeah,
and now that I manage myself, I end up sort of layering all of these many different tasks. So I drink a lot of coffee and my days are full, but I sleep so good at night and I'm fulfilled.
So you mentioned doing live shows. Obviously, you haven't been able to do anything, any real show for quite some time, TikTok, and I'm sure some other internet stuff.
Yeah.
But we're happy to announce today, as we run this conversation, that there is a live show coming up. There's 2 coming up. April 23rd and 24th.
Yes.
They're drive-in shows, which we've been involved with before. First of all, we're all excited to drive and see you. And secondly, talk about putting this show together. What are we going to hear? What are we going to see?
So I guess you could say there are previews of what this show might look or sound like. That we put out called Live from the Ranch. They're on my Instagram. They're on my YouTube. They're basically the band that we recorded Look for the Good back in the fall of 2019.
Right.
On the last day of recording in the studio, we took our equipment outside and we filmed ourselves playing the songs. And it's actually us playing live. And we thought this is going to be so exciting to finally get out and play some shows. And then obviously we've all been on pause for the last year and change.
Right.
Well, we're going to put the entire band back together in April so that we can safely gather and perform live on stage songs from Look for the Good, as well as songs from my catalog. And this is with a really hot reggae band led by Michael Goldwasser of the Easy Star All-Stars, from the founder of Easy Star Records. And he has helped curate and arrange a phenomenal set list of songs from my catalog, old and new, that we'll be bringing to the City National Grove of Anaheim, the Drive-In OC. You know what I love about this music, Nic, is you can dance to every song. I've been a songwriter who's been singing love songs for birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, you name it. And it's been various groove, acoustic groove, light rock, just a mix, smooth jazz. But with Michael Goldwasser and this phenomenal reggae band, it is straightforward. This is meant for dancing. This is meant for liberation. This is meant for celebration. So it's a huge band. It has my name on it, but this show is really about the other musicians as well.
Right.
3 guitars, horns, drums and percussion, 2 keys. I mean, everything you need for that rich, delicious, juicy reggae pocket. It's all going to be there.
Man, it sounds like a lot of fun. And we're in Anaheim.
Yes, it is in Anaheim at the City National Grove, also known as the Drive-In OC. It's going to be Friday night, April 23rd, and Saturday, April 24th. And I'm hoping the tickets blow out, because if they do, we can add more shows. But
Yeah. Let's hope so. I mean, it really is as simple as that. You know, there's the place is there, the setup is there. If you sell it out, then maybe there's another show or two as well.
For sure. That would be great.
Have you been to or seen any drive-in shows? I know that the station's been involved in a couple. The great thing about the way they're set up is that there's like a little pocket next to you where you park your car, where you can pull out some chairs, sit down, if you like, or dance. You've got a space. You've got your own space to dance. So everybody will be able to do that.
I love that. I love it. Yeah, I assume people wouldn't just be sitting in their cars all the time. Like, you get out, it's more of a tailgate.
Yeah.
Sit on your car, on top of the car, bring chairs, blankets, bring your pod ready to party. And these are actually going to be the first live shows of this album. So it will be, I think it'll be explosive. I think sometimes it'll be hilarious and a bit wobbly, but those are my favorite shows because we have to surf those shows. You know, we're not going to stop a song midway, but what we'll do is we might improvise and surf our way into a whole new expression of those songs. And that's what I love about live performance is, yes, we do come to the stage rehearsed, but what we hope happens is something totally unique that only that audience gets to experience.
That's exciting, and hopefully the beginning of maybe getting out and doing some more shows this year. Are there plans to try and put a tour together once perhaps we can gather in bigger groups together?
Yeah, there is. I mean, we've had tour dates continually postponed since last fall, so we're hoping that by summer we have a few more tour dates added. If not, we're going to push it back to the fall. We're just going to wait our turn. Obviously, the highways and the venues are already packed. There's waiting lists for bands and buses and trucks to all be out there doing it. So as soon as we get the green light, we're going to go for it. But in the meantime, like everyone else, we're going to stay safe and just sit tight.
Well, I just want to let everybody know who's watching or listening to this right now that as we put this up live on the web today, tickets are on sale. 23rd and 24th, as we just mentioned, at Drive-In OC in Anaheim. And we can't wait to see you. Jason, thanks for taking a minute.
Nic, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
88.5 FM, KCSN, and KCSN HD1 Northridge, Los Angeles. KSBR and KSBR HD1 Mission Viejo. A service of California State University Northridge and Saddleback College. Member-supported public radio. Streaming on the web at 885fm.org.